Hey everybody, welcome back to the eBay shop. My name's Corey.
I'm Teresa.
And we are Grams and Pops Vintage. And today we're going to talk about eBay customer feedback. Well, feedback from you, feedback for you, both directions.
It can be, it can be you as a seller
Or as
and
a
the
buyer.
seller that sends it to you.
Yeah, feedback. That's what we're going to try and do today. We'll see how it goes. But as usual, we're going to pack a few items as we go. Things that sold over the weekend that we need to get out of here. So what's the first thing that actually needs to be packed up?
We sold some LED lights. I don't know what they are. Red marker to green auxiliary LED lights.
Yep, so it's a red and green light. There's a red and a green filament or LED light in that for like trailers or boats or whatnot have yous. So we got two of these going out. We got these in kind of a bulk buy from Alicia Inked Picker. And we've sold a few of them, and they are moving slowly but surely. Two more of these are now out the door for how much? I think we took an offer on these.
You took an offer.
Yep.
$10 a piece, so total of $20.
Yep,
Plus
$20.
shipping. This is a pair of pants. I don't know where I got them from, but I would not pick them up again.
This pair of pants?
Yep. They are Lucky Brand Ava Skinny Women's Mid-Rise Black Jeans.
Bag number 49. I gotta believe these came out of like a storage unit. I wouldn't think that we would have bought these.
I don't know.
But those ones sold for how much?
$19.99.
$19.99, and they're out of here. I don't know if we've had these listed a long time or not.
I think so.
You think so?
They're in tote 24, so.
So they've been,
Yeah,
they've been around a minute.
Yep. I would not pick them up again.
All right, so in terms of feedback, when you have options in eBay of when to leave feedback, well, you have the main option, the default option is you just leave feedback when you want. Like you go in manually and leave feedback. There are a few ways to set it up so it's automated too.
Yep.
So I guess let's talk about that. Which way would you use, automated or sending a manual?
I would use automated. I don't want to go in and have to check our however many hundreds of orders a month that we ship to send out feedback based on when they paid and if they had issues.
Yep. And I know a lot of people that do manual feedback. And I think for them, the reason is they're a smaller store, there's less to deal with. And they like to control and customize the feedback to fit the customer, which is great. It's just not scalable once you start doing a lot of business.
Yep.
I would say that when you're talking about automated feedback, at least from us, we're talking about leaving feedback for our buyers.
Yep.
We're not talking about getting feedback.
Can I go on a little bit of a rant?
Please do.
It is very frustrating
Okay, that's enough.
that buyers can leave you feedback based on their product, their views, their whatever, but sellers can't leave negative or neutral feedback for buyers. I don't think that's fair.
Why is that frustrating?
Because if you had to me, I guess, so people who have issues or they claim to have issues after they receive the item and try and
Scam you?
not scam you,
Extort you?
extort refunds from you, I think you should be able to say that.
I don't.
I do. I don't want to do business with somebody who's going to extort money from people because...
Well, you don't have to. I think the way to keep that from happening is just accept free returns and do not allow them to keep a product and give them a partial refund ever. No matter what the issue is, the default answer is ship it back. We'll give you a full refund. Period. That's it. That's the answer.
It is,
and then they can't do that kind of stuff. But I do kind of agree with eBay on the fact that you can't leave feedback. You can report a bad buyer. You can report a buyer for doing shady things. I don't think it would be a good environment if sellers were able to start leaving a bunch of cruddy negative feedback for buyers.
So what about the ones who buy something from you and cancel right away? Or the ones who bid on an auction and bid it all the way up and then don't bother to pay?
Maybe a rating.
Yeah, rating, not leaving a review. Maybe not leaving a review, but...
It would. You could fall off your stool. Quit jiggling around.
So I think you should be able to rate them. Like, you should be able to give somebody a 0 stars.
Yeah, I think I could go with that. It would be nice to be able to warn other sellers.
Yes.
That buyer has been a problem. And if they get a lot of those, then you can make a determination whether or not you want to sell to them. Or at least eBay could use that. Don't even publish it. Just put it in the background on their account and let eBay decide if they fall below a bad buyer rating to a certain point, then they can't buy for however long.
And I think they do with the people who don't pay, like the buyers that don't pay and you cancel their order due to non-payment. I know they get strikes in the back end for that.
This video is already so far off track.
I know. Well, kind of. No, it's still talking about feedback.
It is, yeah. So, okay, so when we leave feedback, I think I actually said this wrong on the podcast recently. I think we leave feedback automatically after we receive feedback.
Correct.
Okay, I thought we just left it after it had shipped, but we do leave feedback automatically after the customer leaves us feedback, positive or negative. We automatically leave them feedback.
Yeah, and we had somebody yell at us for that. Somebody sent us a message saying, I told you that I would leave positive feedback, but you need to leave positive feedback as well. So I had to go out to their account, to their own feedback, and screenshot it and say, we did. And send them the picture of the feedback.
There's always going to be one squeaky one. But yeah, that's kind of how we approach it. We leave feedback automatically. There are going to be times that the argument against this is there'll be times where somebody's going to leave you negative feedback and then you're automatically leaving them positive feedback.
Yep.
It's a rarity. It's a one-off.
Maybe they should be able to...
I think there is a way to say once they leave positive feedback.
Okay, we should check that because we should only leave positive feedback if they leave positive feedback.
See? We don't know either.
Nope.
But even if you couldn't do that, I think it's fine. I think it's going to be such a rare occurrence as a one-off thing. It is what it is at that point. I don't think that would bother me any. Although it would be nice not to leave the negatives feedback, but
yeah, I don't want people thinking that they're good people.
You don't want them to win.
No.
That's the thing.
It's
a revenge thing.
It is.
I don't know.
It's not revenge. Why would you leave good feedback for somebody who's a twat?
Well, because I'm a better person.
No. Okay.
You're
Enough
not a
complaining.
better person?
Not to people I don't know.
All right, let's look at what actually sold next. Did we cover that topic at all?
Yeah, we did. When to leave feedback. We leave it after we get positive feedback.
Is that what we were supposed to talk about?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there it is. I hope we covered it. All right, let's look at what actually sold next.
We sold a FOCO.
A FOCO?
FOCO, that's what it's called. Green Bay Packers insulated lunch bag. It is brand new.
Faux show. So we picked this up and a Green Bay's collector coin up at the same time at a garage sale. It is brand new. It's still in the package here with all the tags. And it's like a cooler. It's like a little
lunch cooler.
Lunch cooler, yeah. Did you say that already?
I said it was an insulated lunch bag.
Okay. Well, there it is. And that sold for how much?
$29.99.
Yeah, not bad. I think we paid like $1.
We sold a VCR. We sold a JVC Hi-Fi video cassette recorder VCR player with no remote.
All right, so that's this guy here. Got a cord wrapped up. We got an RCA cable that's going with it. And when we throw these in, we have like some big drawers back there that we put our VCRs in. We like to wrap them all up and put a number on them so we know which is which. This one's number 11, and it is going out the door for how much?
$48.50. That was a good one.
Yep, and the VCRs that we keep are all tested and working. I don't even think we have any back there for parts. Maybe one.
I don't think we have any. You've been throwing them away.
Any of them that don't work, I've been getting rid of, so.
The next part of our topic that we're going to talk about, since we are on the topic of feedback, to me is one that gets me, and I go off. I do not like negative or neutral feedback. I love reading positive feedback.
I don't mind it if it's warranted. Like if you earned it. If you ship somebody the wrong product and you get a negative feedback, you earned it. Yes, it'd be great if they reached out and said, hey, let's make this right, let's fix it.
I know.
And give you the opportunity, but you did screw up.
I know.
She did screw up, that's why.
No. The neutral feedbacks, though, I didn't. The one neutral feedback was something that shipped and they're like, it's okay.
Yeah, they're just having a blah day.
What?
The good thing is neutral feedback actually doesn't affect you at all. It's basically like them not even leaving feedback. It doesn't affect your score. It doesn't affect anything on your eBay store. So that one's just a wash. It's weird. I don't know why they have it, either positive or negative or don't leave one, but they left neutral. It doesn't hurt anything. So we don't really worry about that.
I don't worry about
I don't
neutral.
worry about it.
I don't like to read negative feedback. I don't like to go on our thing and see that I've upped my reviews and then see that there's a negative feedback.
Yep. And it doesn't happen very often. I mean, we're
No.
at like 99.8 or something.
Yep. We had one recently, but it's gone.
Yeah. We have a couple of them on there. One of them we might even be able to get removed. We haven't tried, but negative feedback is going to happen if you do enough sales. You cannot please everybody, no matter how good you are. Eventually, you will have a negative feedback, even if it's just an unreasonable customer. It's going to happen.
Negative feedback after 27 years?
Oh, I get negative feedback all the time.
28 years.
Well, there's your first negative. You can't count.
I can't. I won't give you negative feedback, just neutral. You're welcome. Before we go on to the next items that we sold, tell us some of your negative
Hold on.
feedbacks.
First, Teresa made this little storyboard for us to make a video out of. She wanted to talk about feedback because there's something we had been talking about. You put negative neutral as the thing we're supposed to talk about. Did we cover it?
We did. We
I
just
don't
talked
know.
about
What-
negative.
That it exists?
Well, kind of, yeah. I guess how we feel about getting negative and neutral feedback.
Oh, I hate it.
I don't like getting it.
Actually, I'm negative about it or neutral about it, depending on which is which.
Positive feedback, though, dude, I could
positive
read
about
those all day long.
We get
And
a
I
lot of
love
good
the
ones.
people who give us like the paragraph long feedback.
Well, how's come positive's not on the board?
Oh, I don't know.
You're a negative. Neutral feedback.
I don't know. I don't know why it's not on there. I just wrote negative and neutral because I think everybody likes to get positive feedback. And the next thing on this, I guess, is do you worry about negative and positive feedback? Like, do you as a buyer go out and look when you're buying something from somebody and look at their feedback?
Not unless it's really, I mean, I always look at the feedback.
Like the
when I'm-
percentage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the percentage. If it's low, then I don't even buy from them. I don't need to look at it.
But yeah, it's more of like you as a seller. I know that's the other thing too, is everybody that is a seller on eBay, if you get new buyers that have zero feedback, everybody seems to freak out about that. Like,
No,
do
I
I
don't.
sell to them? Do I let it ship? It's a high dollar item.
Why do you gotta say things like
Wasn't
that?
trying to. I guess I'm just saying I'm mimicking how they're saying
You're
it.
projecting the inner. Is that like resting bitch voice?
Yes, it's resting. But yeah, there's a lot of people that I see that come into some of the groups that I'm on Facebook and they're like, screenshot it and show that they had zero
See, I
feedback.
think the feedback, zero feedback from a buyer doesn't bother me at all. It just means they came from off the site. They're checking out as a guest maybe. They've never bought on eBay before. And you're protected with seller protection. So not even an issue. Zero feedback as a seller, now there's an issue. Like, I would be very cautious buying from a zero feedback seller. Maybe they've had other accounts banned. Maybe they're brand new and legitimate, but you just don't know.
Like my sister.
Well, even like your sister who started selling on eBay recently, I would have recommended immediately go out and buy even some shipping materials, boxes,
just
things
to
like
get
that, and get some feedback as a buyer. So at least you have something. So low or no feedback as a seller, I would look at more
Look
closely.
twice.
As a buyer, it wouldn't bother me at all. So
Okay, now we've officially
now
covered
we've
it.
covered it.
Yes, now we've covered it. Okay,
Good job.
so slowly but surely, I had went through and listed all of the items, most of the items, except for the cups on the back here. We are starting to have to find new things to put up there because stuff has been selling.
She sold my daggone McDonald's
I
characters.
did. We sold
These guys here.
the 4 Happy Meal adult cactus plant flea market Happy Meal toys. It is a complete set of 4.
Yep. I guess first we've got
That's cactus plant.
cactus plant guy. We've got the Hamburglar.
Hamburglar.
We've got Birdie,
Yep.
and you got your boy Grimace.
Yep.
So we've got the whole set. We sold a lot of these early on when
good
they
money.
first came out, and they were selling for like $20 a piece at one time. And we decided to keep one of each just to have for our shelf.
And then Corey said that we should just start listing the stuff on the back of it because then it would sell. So I did.
And it was cool to have them. It is kind of cool to see like things you sell a lot of, just keep one off to the side so you can reminisce, but it's also nice to have ham sandwiches, and that costs money, so we got to sell stuff. So we put those for sale for how much?
I did. So I listed those higher than anybody else had them, and they sold for $60, $59.99.
Yeah, so that buys a couple of ham sandwiches at least. So those guys are going out, and we can afford a few more McDonald's meals or something.
Technically, they were $0 to us because we paid for the food.
Well,
Because Pops likes food more than the toys. I think this came out of I don't know where it came out of. I just happened to find it. I think it came out of our second storage unit.
I think this came out of our second storage unit. It's a controller for PlayStation.
It is a Radica Gamester FPS Master wired controller.
FPS, first person shooter, not frames per second.
Oh, is that what that stands for?
Yep.
And it is for a PS2.
So pretty cool controller. And that sold for how much?
$30.
$30. And it came out of a storage unit. So we don't actually have a storage unit right now that's not paid for. So anytime we say something came from a storage unit right now, it's zero cost to us. All right, we talked about when to leave feedback. We talked about negative and neutral feedback and how we felt about it. And now we're going to talk about what do you do about feedback? Is that right?
So, yes, that there kind of. So it's like, I don't even know how to explain it now.
So sometimes
feedback is unwarranted.
Yes. Sometimes you get feedback you didn't deserve. And there are things, well, first of all, I guess the most obvious one is if you do something wrong and you gave someone a bad buying experience and they give you negative or neutral feedback, then
suck it up.
Suck it up. Move on.
But
forget about it, and it's not that big of a deal.
One that we've had two instances. The two instances are ones where I don't think feedback was warranted. One was somebody purchased something from us, but they didn't pay, so I canceled the order. Somehow eBay sent out the feedback request to them, and they left us negative feedback saying, I canceled the order.
Yeah, if they don't actually make the full transaction, if they don't receive the item, or if they didn't receive the item because the order was canceled, they shouldn't be able to leave feedback. I don't like that.
I think you should have to completely finish the process. Like, you should only get a feedback request if you paid for it.
Yep. So that part stinks. But when you do receive, say, negative or neutral feedback, and maybe it wasn't your fault, maybe you sent something and the post office smashed it. You know, that was out of your control, unless you've packed it horribly, in which case it's absolutely your fault. But in some cases, it's just not your fault. I mean, if a truck runs over a box, it doesn't matter how good it's packed. It's
right.
going to be crushed. So there are a few things you can do to deal with that. And we can cover those more in a minute. But this section was more just to talk about the fact that there are cases where maybe that feedback is not something that you just have to live with because maybe you didn't deserve it.
One other instance that I know that I would have requested a feedback, it was my fault. I did send out the wrong Tupperware lid, kind of.
Not kind of. You send the wrong one out.
No, I sent the right one out. The listing was incorrect. One piece of the listing was incorrect.
That's right.
But anyways, they left us a feedback, negative feedback, after they had requested to return it, saying they sent me the wrong one. Okay, I admit I was in the wrong.
That was our bad.
It was. But in the next part,
what?
I was in the wrong, but.
There's no but.
There's a but. There's always
no
a but.
No, you got to eat that one. You were wrong. Okay, so I think that kind of covers this section. Is basically we just wanted to address the fact that not all feedback is warranted. There are times when you can't help it. There are times when the customer may order something and cancel, like they may cancel it. And sometimes eBay lets them leave feedback even though they canceled the order. And it's weird. There's some loopholes in it.
The last one I can think of, though, too, real quick, was like if something was shipped through the post office and it got lost or it took forever to get there, that's out of your control.
Well, and a customer can leave you bad feedback. Say they buy a shirt and they get it and it's exactly as described, but it doesn't fit them and they're unhappy and they're going to do a return. They could do the return for a full refund, but because they actually did the purchase, they can also leave you bad feedback, even though
It's not your fault.
It was as described, and they just had too much turkey at Thanksgiving. It's something that happens. So there are cases like that where it's not something you can control. So we just wanted to address that. And now let's address what actually sold next.
We sold some Stampin' Up. We sold a Stampin' Up, a nice cuppa photopolymer stamps, and the cup and kettle die set.
Yep. So this is actually kind of two pieces here. And it's got the Stampin' dies and whatever else.
The stamps and the
The
dies.
stamps and the dies. That's two. There you go. So that was actually a pretty good one, wasn't it?
It was.
That Stampin' die set sold for how much?
$45.99.
Yep. So Stampin' Up still sold. Still
$40.
sold. Still selling.
Yes, slowly but surely, but it is selling. The next item came out of our storage unit.
We had there was a big air compressor box in that storage unit. And when we opened it up, there was a bunch of, like 3 of these, right?
There was 3 sets of high-end rollerblades.
Yep.
Speed skater rollerblades. And there was also a bunch of shoes and boots in that one too.
I'll grab them. We'll do this. So I'll show you the box. This is what we're dealing with. They're big old huge boxes, and you'll just have to trust me, there's rollerblades in here.
Oh, there's a picture of it on the side.
And they have like 4 wheels long. Well, you know what rollerblades look like. I'll put a picture up here when we talk about how much they sold for, but those ended up being pretty good, and they're almost new. They're in great shape.
They're in good shape. A couple of them had some scuff marks, like some,
Yep.
I don't know, not scuff marks, like some very faint
Rubbing
on the fabric from, running into stuff or falling on the ground, I guess. I don't know.
Who knows?
But they were pretty good. They all 3 pairs, I'm pretty sure, listed for over $100. This one I took an offer on. They are men's K2 is the brand, Radical 100M at Cross Training Inline Speed Skates.
And they sold for how much?
$94 plus shipping.
$94. And we'll be making some kind of weird, those might fit in one of our big VCR boxes. We'll see. It very possibly could be going UPS, but I think we did charge like $30 for shipping.
We did.
So let's talk about what you could do about feedback that maybe you didn't earn. Well, feedback that you feel you got unjustly. Is there recourse for you as a seller to say, hang on, eBay needs to step in and help me on this one?
There is. So there's a couple of different ways you can handle it. If you get feedback from a customer and you resolved it by, fixing their issue or something.
I would say that's a good one to start with, because you almost, in eBay's opinion, and I kind of agree with it, you want to try to resolve the issue with the customer first. So this method would be the first to attempt.
So your first option is to request a feedback revision from the customer.
Yep. Try and make it right with them. Work with your customer, see what you could do.
And they don't have to do it.
Nope.
They can totally full out ignore you. But as long as you show that you're trying to remedy the situation or something, sometimes eBay will remove it based on, that it was unwarranted and you've tried to remedy it and the customer's ignoring you.
Yep. And by resolve it with the customer, I'm not saying negotiate sending them partial refunds or anything. Like, don't do that. If there's something wrong with the product, or you've sent the wrong product or whatever, try to make it right. Try to get them the right one out and get them to send the other one back. Offer free refund if they just ship what you sent them back. That's kind of our immediate go-to is, don't worry about it. We got free refunds. We're going to pay for the label. Just start a refund request.
Yep.
Or a return request, and work with it that way and try and get them to revise it. If they won't revise it, then there is, and some of them you probably wouldn't even try and get them to revise it. If it's just a weird, unreasonable customer that just is off the rails, don't engage with them anymore. And if you've already tried and you can't get them to revise it, you can also use this method.
Yep. So you can go directly to eBay. There are a couple of different ways you can actually call eBay. I don't know the number to call eBay. I know there's a way to.
Yeah, you would just be calling them to tell them to call you back.
Yep. And then the other option is on Facebook, they have a page that's called eBay for Business.
Yep.
You can go on there and you can it will send them an eBay or a Facebook message, and you just go on and you just chat back and forth with them. I know with the one that we had that was canceled, they just looked at it and they verified that the order was canceled. They never paid for it and they just automatically removed it. Yeah, I know I have seen a lot of people that struggle with getting eBay for Business to remove them. They just
That's
say
always
that
been kind of our go-to is eBay for Business is the faster, better contact for eBay.
Yep, they are slower on responding lately. I don't know if it's because it's the holidays, whatnot, but
So there is a phone number to call eBay. I'll see if I can dig that up. And you basically call and request for them to call you back. And they usually do pretty quickly. And then there's also Facebook for Business or eBay for Business on Facebook, which you could chat through. And they're usually pretty responsive on there too. Those are the two methods we would use to ask for feedback to be reviewed and removed. And we've had pretty good luck with it. Unless it's something that's our fault, they are pretty good about taking it off. I've heard rumors that they're going to stop doing that.
really?
But right now they're just rumors. I haven't seen it verified anywhere by eBay, so take that with a grain of salt.
That's BS.
It is what it is. We don't, like I said, it ain't BS. It ain't even, we don't know if it's true.
Gossiping over here.
I'm just hearing rumors.
Spreading the tea.
Spreading
Spilling the tea.
We're going to go there again.
Somebody else said something else on our comment that they do. Spill the beans.
Spill the beans. That's an old one.
Spill the beans.
Yep, that's
they
our
don't spill the tea,
generation.
they spill the beans.
Yep. All right, so let's look at a few more things that sold.
We sold a DVD, and it was a good one. We've held on to this DVD for a while. I think I just recently relisted it, ended in Sell Similar, and I think that's why it sold, but it is actually going international to Canada.
So it is Jolene, the Blu-ray DVD.
Starring Jessica Chastain.
I have no idea who that is. I think it's an Australian film or something to begin with. No idea.
It's a hard to find out of print.
Yep, it is out of print. And that DVD was a good sale. That sold for how much?
$54.99 free shipping. So we will walk away with it with $50.
And we will not be putting that DVD into a poly mailer.
No, that
we
will
will
go in a
box
box.
that one.
Yes.
All right, and the last one we have is actually a Barbie.
It is. It's a good Barbie. And I just listed her last night and she sold really fast too. So I need to keep my eye out for these certain Barbies, like the long hair Barbies, because that totally hair Barbie, or Hollywood hair Barbie sold really fast.
Yeah, this one's got the hair like all the way down to her feet again too. So it's no clothes or anything. She's got earrings and a ring on. That's all she's got.
So she is 1991 Mattel, totally hair, brunette Barbie, because she is actually Barbie. She is not Teresa, even though she looks like Teresa.
All right. What did she sell for?
$39.99 plus shipping. That was flipping. Oh, I can't use that. That's somebody's podcast. That was fantastic.
No, that was a good one. So the ones with the really long hair, those are worth looking up.
Yes.
And then the ones that have like the eyelashes, the real eyelashes that are not just painted on, those are worth looking up.
Do you know what that's called?
I know we've talked about this before.
They're called rooted eyelashes.
Rooted.
I guess.
Is your eyelash rooted?
No.
Yeah.
My eyelash is rooted, yes. So are
Will
yours.
one come unrooted?
Yes. Yeah, not all Barbies are great, but some Barbies. Oh, you know Barbie that I got a hold of out of all of our stuff that I listed recently?
I don't.
An American Barbie. So she's like an original 1950s, 1960s Barbie.
Okay.
I've always wanted to have one of those and sell it.
And now you do?
Yes. The only problem with it is she's damaged. So she has a dent in her boob.
Oh, that's a problem.
And her legs are broke.
Glad you caught it early.
The dent in the boob. But yeah, so I was excited. I got a couple old Barbies in there. There was that, and there was an old Midge Barbie and an old Scooter Barbie. Have you ever heard of Scooter?
I have.
I've heard of Scooter's Coffee, but I've never heard of Scooter Barbie.
Oh, maybe that's where I heard Scooter.
Maybe. But there's a Scooter Barbie. So yes, I got some pretty good Barbies. I'll have to keep my eye out for some more.
There you go. So if you're into Barbies, check out our eBay page. All right, I think that's it for today. We do have a lot of packing to do, so as usual, we're going to get wrapped up here, and we're going to let you guys go, and we'll see you next time.
Hasta la vista, baby.